Welcome back. We're at one of South Florida's many yacht clubs and marinas, and while South Florida has some of the best boating in the world, it does come with a price. What do you do with your boat during a hurricane? While you can't completely hurricane-proof your boat, there are things you can do to reduce the risk during violent weather. If you have a trailer for your boat, when a storm is approaching, firmly secure the boat and trailer using lines or straps and anchors that are buried deep within the ground. If you have a big boat like mine or one that stays at the dock all the time, there are several things you can do to protect it. First, dock lines should be run in the longest way possible from dock cleats to the boat. This allows the boat to rise and fall in storm tides. Next, it's important to use chafing gear to protect the lines, but you don't want to use rubber or hose chafing gear because the lines will actually heat up under the stress of the wind on the boat and possibly melt. Instead, you want to use cloth chafing gear so the rain and spray can get through and keep the lines cool. And in some cases, you may have the option to pull your boat out of the water. You may think a boat out of the water is easily blown over, but insurance experts say a boat damaged on land is easily repairable, but a boat that sinks in the water is a total loss. Whether your boat stays in the water or can come out, remember to remove anything that can catch the wind and put a strain on the boat or the dock lines. And of course, the #1 rule, never stay on your boat during a hurricane. Another rule to live by in South Florida is to know if you need flood insurance. But Broward County has changed the way it determines its flood zones. Many residents who were once considered to live in a flood zone are no longer in one. CBS 4's Joan Murray explains how that might translate to big savings.
With costs hitting the roof, Susan Henderson is getting a break under her roof. Her Pembroke Pines home is now out of the flood zone, and she may be able to drop her flood insurance.
We did pay, about $400 for our flood insurance, and that would be obviously a savings.
Henderson and thousands of other Broward homeowners are in for a big break. FEMA has finalized a new flood zone map, and now more than half of the county is out of the zone. Coastal areas are still included, but areas west of the Turnpike have been removed. That means almost all properties in cities like Miramar, Weston, and Pembroke Pines are out of the zone requiring flood insurance. County Engineer Alyssa Taylor showed us how easy it is for homeowners to look up whether they are in or out, simply clicking on broward.org and typing in an address.
And then you need to click on the actual building that you're interested in.
But while thousands are out, 31,000 new Broward residents are in, including Fort Lauderdale resident Patty Gull.
The street, in front of my house was never flooded, so I was surprised.
But Gull paid a surveyor to check the elevation and discovered her home is higher than she thought. So she's asking FEMA to do a map revision.
I still think it's a good idea to have. It's just that I don't necessarily want to pay the really high premiums that would be required if I was actually in a zone.
And while she's out of the flood zone, Susan Henderson says she may also keep her flood insurance.
Anywhere in South Florida, not to have flood insurance, I think you're just taking a big chance.
Before the waters rise and we have our next big flood event, know that some mortgage lenders are still requiring homeowners to carry flood insurance even if you are out of a flood zone. In Pembroke Pines, Joan Murray, CBS 4 News.